So here's another review on a Kemper profile. This one I got off the Rig Exchange, called Mesa Recto Clean Strat. It's actually the Mesa Boogie rectifier that I believe is already in the Kemper. Somebody tweaked this to make it sound really good with the Strat. I think it's good with the single coil sound. And here is my take on it and how I use it for Time Stand Still by Rush, and you can use it for a whole bunch of other songs with a similar tone. So the Kemper profile that I use for Time Stand Still is called the Mini Recto Clean Strat. I don't use the Strat, as you can tell, for this song. I do use my PRS with a single coil pickup. I think more broadly you could say this could be used with a single coil guitar. So it doesn't have to necessarily be a Strat, although a Strat would sound really awesome with it as well. Telly, whatever you got with a single coil would work really nice with this. The humbucking sound could work okay as well, but you know, I like this kind of tone for this song. Now, the Kemper profiler that I'm using for Time Stand Still, this works really good for that song because, you know, this song has got that classic mid-late 80s, you know, chorusy, sort of reverb-ish delay sound, but the chorus is really prevalent back in that time. Now, of course, you don't have to just use it for Time Stand Still or Rush songs. It could be for a lot of the songs used in that era that use that single coil sound, something such as this. You can play stuff like The Police. Stuff like that, which is really good for that mid-late 80s sound if you're after that type of thing. There are some, you know, more newer alternative songs that are definitely gravitating towards that 80s vibe. So you don't, of course, have to have the chorus. You can take the chorus off. So there's some really cool sounds you can get that would work well with this mini Strat. Like I said, I use it a lot for my Rush songs. You can take some really cool bluesy sounds. I used to like to use that bridge pickup with that single coily sound. Put a little bit of drive on maybe. Let's see, I got it right here. The Mini Recto Clean Strat does that. It's actually the rectifier. I believe the rectifier that is somewhere in the Kemper profile, or at least I think it is. I haven't really investigated that part. I probably should have done that before the video. It doesn't really matter. I like the one with the clean, it says Clean Strat on it, so it's tweaked a little bit to really enhance those bright, those tones that you get out of that Strat or any sort of single coil guitar tone. Now, regarding Time Stand Still, there's really not much to the song as far as my settings. So on my Fractal, which is my Fractal FX8 that I use for all of my effects, you could, of course, definitely use the effects on the Kemper. I happen to use the Fractal, and I kind of like the effects a little bit better. Doesn't really matter. What you're after here is some sort of boost sound is what I use for Time Stand Still. It's called a micro boost on the Fractal FX8, but any sort of boost sound, I would tend to be a little hesitant on, you know, heavy distortion overdrives if you can. Just kind of go with that boost sound so that the distortion doesn't overpower the you know, the jangliness, that sort of punchy high tones that he has in that song. So I use the chorus, which would be the standard chorus sound. I have the CE2, that was always my favorite back in the 80s, but any sort of chorus that kind of gives you that type of rate. You don't want to have the rate too high, and then some delay, and then you know, he definitely had some reverby sounds back then to fill that out. So that is really about all I used for Time Stand Still. There's really not much to it. The opening part in the verse, I don't even have that micro boost on. That's straight out of the Kemper, the Clean Strat, where the gain is probably somewhere around 10 o'clock. I definitely turned up the mid treble and the presence a bit, because to get that more, that high trebly sound that he does use. That's the intro and the verses. When it gets to the chorus and Three and Slips Away part, I did add the micro boost, add a little bit of a boost just to give it a little bit more grittiness to the tone, as opposed to this. So not a huge difference, but it's enough to fill it out. Actually, it feels better to me when I do it that way. Those are my only settings that I use for the song. There really isn't much more, except for the instrumental section. When I do play that part, I added in a little bit of an octaver. It's sort of hidden in the background a bit, but just to sort of fill out that sound a little bit when you're playing this here. So it's just a little octaver. It's not dominant, but it's just sort of hanging out there in the background. And then I put that octaver ahead of the amp, so it's not in the post section, it's in the pre section. Just works better for me. The chorus, delay, and reverb are on the post section, and of course the micro boost is the first thing in on my sound. Also on the Kemper, the input section, so you can see that my clean sensitivity, I put up 2.9. There is a noise gate on here, you know, because sometimes those Strats, they can get a little bit noisy. On the amplifier section, I like the definition high on this one, 7.7. That's just how I like it. I did turn the pick up to 0.8. That seems to work really well with this. I definitely wanted to hear that. And the compressor's a little up too on 6.6, but that's generally how I use that sound. And on the cabinet, I don't know Guy Ton 212. I have no idea what that is, but if you know, leave a comment. I would love to know what that is. Guy Ton 212 is what I use. Didn't really make any other adjustments there. Make sure, of course, that you have the effects loop on. As always, if you want to use your external effects with the post section, make sure that the effects loop is on. The volume was set at 0, so there was a really good balance between the two. So I didn't have any issues with that as well. Hey, thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, click the bell for more notifications on videos that are going to be coming up. I got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. You can look through my playlist and find something that'll probably help you out, or something you just want to learn how to play. All right, thanks a lot for watching, and rock on.